It's officially the blizzard, the great blizzard of Nashville 2022. Welcome in, everyone.
Right.
We hope you got your caffeine. We hope you got your coffee brewing, whatever it is, because we are staying up late tonight for the Preds versus the Kings. They're out on the West Coast. We're going to watch every minute of this game tonight. We can't wait for it. This is Chad Minton, your host, with Rich Howe. Everyone needs to be really thoughtful of Rich because he's in the Eastern time zone, so he's staying up extra late to watch this game. It really shows how he's a true fan of the Predators.
That's right. I would be up anyway, so I'm good.
Yeah, so we appreciate everyone who's going to be staying up with us on the YouTube channel right now. We, of course, appreciate all of our subscribers who listen to the podcast the following day as well. We are going to be analyzing and breaking down this game as we do episode 94 tonight. So stay tuned for that. The puck drop is just a few minutes away.
Coming right up.
So Rich, you got. Let's ask you first. How is the blizzard going up there for you? And when I say blizzard, I'm really just trying to be funny. Blizzard for Nashvillians is like a couple snowflakes for people up in the Northeast and in the Midwest. We've got about 5, maybe 6 inches of snow in the Nashville area on average. How much you got up there in Kentucky, Rich, near Louisville?
I did not measure, but I think you might have gotten more than us for some reason.
No way. I don't see how that's possible.
When I looked at your Twitter feed and I saw your panoramic picture of your backyard with your
I welcome everyone to go watch that.
That was golden.
And that was not planned either. That was me. That was me trying to get a before and after video. I was like, okay, I'm going to film my backyard right now.
That was amazing.
And then I'm going to come back out here in like 2 or 3 hours and see what the difference is in the accumulation. Yep. And that was my before picture. And so I'm panning back over to the left, and there's my glorious dog just doing what nature intends, which is him popping a little bit of squat. So
gotta go, man. Gotta go. You gotta go.
Yeah, everyone should go watch that video. It's pretty funny. This is why we love dogs. This is why we love dogs right here, though, right?
Yeah, it is amazing. But yeah, it's there's quite a bit of snow. They called school off. Yeah, I mean, I haven't really been out of the house. I went out once today, so it was not too bad. But
I'm always down for a snow day.
Yeah.
Everyone's out, on my street. All the neighbors, the kids are building snowmen.
Yep.
They're having fun. They're sledding down the street. You don't get to see that very often down here. So when it does happen, it's a very special occasion. And luckily, we did not get a lot of the ice, which is what we normally get down here. It pretty much completely fell as snow. And so that's really cool. Not really looking forward to having to get up and go to the day job tomorrow morning, but we will worry about that when that happens. Because right now we have a new episode to get to you here. This is Catfish on Ice, episode 94 with Chad Minton and Rich Howe. Getting ready to watch this Preds Kings game. The Preds just got a big win on Tuesday against the Vegas Golden Knights. When we went off air, but hey, Rich, you remember when we went off air, the Preds were up 2-0. We were feeling pretty good about ourselves, and of course the Golden Knights stormed back. They made it 3-2. We had to sweat that one out. How about this? How crazy was this, Rich? Did you see where the Golden Knights pulled their goaltender with like 11 minutes left to get I want to say it was a 6-on-4. They got a 2-man advantage.
Yep, they did. Yep.
They pulled the goaltender because they were already on the power play, and they're like, we're going to go ahead and get a 2-man advantage to get this goal. I thought it was a really aggressive decision.
Yeah.
You don't see that very often.
You don't. It worked though for them. Yeah, I hate it was like 3-0, and then it went 3-1, and then they scored that goal to make it 3-2. There was like a minute and a half maybe left, and then they just started shooting the lights out, and I was like, all right, here we go. But Preds held on, so that was exciting.
Held on. They didn't even have to go to overtime to do it either.
Nope. And
that was good.
That was awesome.
All right,
yeah.
Let's give you we're about to let you know what we got in store for this entire episode, but before that, let's give you a quick preview of this Kings matchup real quick before they drop the puck. Of course, everyone should remember we've already played the Kings once this season. the Preds got their first official win of the regular season against the Kings back on October 19th. That feels like forever ago, right?
It does. It's insane.
It was a very, very defensive style game. If people remember, it wasn't a flashy win by any means. The Preds outshot the Kings 31-26. They won the game 2-1. Tanner Jeannot actually got his first goal of the season in that game. Right. But yeah, it was a pretty much a snooze fest type of a win, but the Preds did finally get in the win column. I actually remember doing an episode right before that game, and one of our segments was having to talk about when will the Preds get their first win of the season. We were all kind of worried at that point because the Preds opened up with 2 losses on the season. So that's the last time we saw the Kings. Let's kind of take a look at the Kings. Of course, the big thing about the Kings right now that everyone can't stop talking about is their prospect pool. They've got a really, really bright future ahead of them. Yep. The question is, are they ready to get there right now this season? Probably not. They're probably a season or 2 away from returning to their former glory where they were winning Stanley Cups and they were a regular in the playoffs. But they're obviously not a team to overlook. The Kings have actually only played 3 games since coming out of the COVID pause.
Oh, yeah.
So in those 3 games, they've got their most recent game. They beat the Philadelphia Flyers 6-3. They beat the Vancouver Canucks 2-1. And then their first game out of the pause, they beat They lost actually to the Vegas Golden Knights 6-3. So those are their last 3 games coming out of the pause. They actually haven't played a game in 4 days either, so they are well rested. So we got to watch. So we got to watch out for that. The Kings are, they're kind of back there in a lot of key categories. Goals per game, Kings are 24th. The Preds are all the way up to 15th. Actually, they've really made some headway. The Preds have. They've been scoring more lately.
They have, which is good.
Goals against per game, you're talking about 2 teams who don't give up a lot of goals. The Kings are 10th in the league in goals against per game. The Preds are 8th. So that might mean we're in store for another low-scoring, grinded-out type of game. We'll see. Yep. Power play. The Kings are 25th. Preds are still holding firm in the top 10. They're at 6th. The Preds have held on. How surprised are you by that, Rich? That the Preds have actually held on in the top 10 of the power play.
I love it. If we were talking about it before the season, I wouldn't believe it. But yeah,
it's pretty surprising that they've been able to hold.
Yeah,
and we got our first comment of the stream here on YouTube. Dead Cell.
That's actually he's in our. That's UC Sorrows.
Oh, did he
our fantasy league?
Did they change their name?
I think this might be his YouTube login.
Okay, so Dead Cell. We're gonna call him Dead Cell either way. He or she, we're calling you Dead Cell. The resurgence of Jonathan Quick has been surprising. Jonathan Quick's one of those goaltenders that just won't go away.
Yep.
That's a good point there you bring up there. All right, so yeah, I'm right there with you, Rich. I never thought the Preds would be able to sustain a top 10 power play for this long.
I would have never thought it. Especially, it's like you said, for this long.
Justin Gambino jumps in here, a regular commenter on our live episodes. Justin Gambino says, I want a Jeannot goal tonight, and to see Duchesne get a goal feels like it's been a while for him. Yeah, he hasn't been putting up a lot of goals. He's had some assists lately. He's been skating really effectively, but he has
some amazing passes.
But he hasn't scored as many goals as you would like. So yeah, that's perfect timing there. They're about to drop the puck. But yeah, so this game really does have the makings for being a defensive game again, but we'll see about that. They're dropping the puck. As we keep an eye on this game, let's really talk about what else we're going to be talking about during this game. We are going to dive into a really touchy subject. Even for some of our top listeners, like our really good friend Landry, who has the beautiful dogs, the beautiful German Shepherds. Landry, he's the big Preds fan. He's also a big Dallas Cowboys fan. He's hilarious. Go follow him on Twitter. He puts up a lot of good stuff. He's not a fan of David Poile, let's put it that way.
Not at all.
But we are going to do a full-on discussion of some of the top GMs in the NHL right now. And where does David Poile fit into that? category? Is he just terrible and he just needs to go? Is his time passed him by? Is he somewhere in the middle? Or should he still be respected as one of the top GMs? We'll talk about that. Everyone calm down. We're not saying that right now.
Nope.
But we'll save that segment for when we get into it. We expect a lot of good comments during that segment as well. We're going to get into that. Of course, it's Thursday, so we got our battle for the Central Power Rankings. We've got a lot of and Rich, we've got a lot of Central Division teams in action tonight. So
there are, yeah,
it'd be perfect.
Yeah,
and along with that, I got a bone to pick with a power ranking that I saw. And where they ranked the Preds. So we'll kind of we'll lump that in with our power rankings of the Central Division, because I cannot believe where I saw the Preds ranked in this network. I guess I call them a network where they ranked the Preds. So we'll get into that. We'll talk about that.
That was ugly. I don't understand that, but whatever.
And we're also going to bring back Preds trivia. We haven't done Preds trivia in a while.
No, it's been a while.
And Rich, I'm really sorry, but I've got some really tough questions for you tonight, man. I just brought the heat. I brought the heat.
Well, if there's anything after or before 2018-19, no chance.
They're kind of all over the place, and two of them are multiple choice. So you got a chance either way.
A, B, C, D. All right.
Hey, always go with C. That's what I was always taught. I was always taught to go with C if you don't know.
That's what they always tell you.
Or all of the above. You go with all of the above too.
That's always a good one.
That's what they always told me anyway.
That's a good one.
All right.
Definitely.
What else we got? We got our buddy Kyle Perkins. He caused a really big dust up on hockey Twitter with his Tanner Jeannot post, and let's just say he got up in the feelings of a lot of Detroit Red Wings fans.
Oh boy.
Oh, we love our boy Kyle Perkins, who joins us every Monday for Perks Picks. We're always going to have his back. He put up some really, really good stats, some fair stats on Tanner Jeannot being in the Calder Trophy race, and some Red Wings fans did not like that.
Not at all.
So
some of them even got a little personal, from what I understand.
And so my mentions, just because I was looped in the original tweet, were like blowing up. Mm-hmm. And I can assure you I'm not that popular at all.
Nope.
And so every time I signed on Twitter, I had like 40 new notifications.
Yeah.
And I kind of realized that's what a famous person must feel like that's probably why they don't respond to most people, is because it'd be impossible to.
Yeah. So earlier today, I asked Kyle how many impressions that tweet has gotten, and this was pretty early this morning. Well, probably about midday. 70,000 impressions so far is what that tweet has gotten.
That's insane, man. He really dug up something, because
he did.
But that's really cool for him. I know Chris Mason, our favorite goaltender broadcaster.
Yep.
He quote tweeted it and gave Kyle Perkins some love. Chris Mason is awesome.
Yeah.
So we appreciate him doing that, getting in some exposure.
Kyle said Justin Bradford mentioned it last night when they were doing their
very awesome
radio show. So that's cool.
Another really good person in the media, Justin Bradford of Penalty Box Radio.
Yep.
So yeah, Kyle Perkins, good job on you, man, sharing some really good stats. The same stats you shared, by the way, in episode 93.
Go back and listen. They're
go
great.
Back and listen. All right, so I think that's what we got on the docket. Yeah. So we got a jam-packed episode, and as we do that, let's take a look at this game here. Preds are buzzing all over the net right now. They're getting in. They're doing what they do. They're playing aggressive. This is what you love to see. You love seeing the Preds come out aggressive right out of the start.
Yes.
They're not sleepwalking.
I'm still catching up here. Mine's delayed as usual, but that's all right. So Dead Cell UC Sorrow says there's a photo in some Red Wings fan's bedroom of Kyle with pen scribbled eyeglasses and devil horns. That's absolutely true. Cause
that's a really odd illustration I've got in my head now, but
people were ticked off, boy.
They were. It doesn't take much to get Red Wings fans mad these days, though. Let's be honest. I mean, they've been through a lot.
They did not.
They are really sensitive. Red Wings fans are very, very sensitive. I can argue they're more sensitive than Blackhawks fans are at this point.
Yeah,
that's saying a lot. That's saying a lot.
Some of the stuff, man. It's like people were inferring that Kyle was saying that Jeannot deserves the Calder or whatever, and it's like he just put some numbers up. He just wants some recognition for Jeannot. It's well deserved.
And of course, we're not labeling all Red Wings fans. There's plenty of our own fan base and the Preds fan base that are also guilty of getting this way. And just so you know, we're not biased here. We make fun of Preds Facebook all the time on this show
because it's bad.
We make fun of our own fans, our own fan base all the time. So
absolutely,
we don't need anyone getting in here being like we're bashing all these fan bases. But I will say, when the Preds beat the Red Wings earlier this season, there were so many Red Wings fans somehow randomly popping up on my timeline and in my mentions. I don't even know how they were getting there. Just getting super defensive about how the Preds just beat them. And, of course, they always go to, well, you can talk to us when you win a cup type of thing. You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've been around for 100 years. So.
I'm rubbing my hands like an evil person, and that means a goal's coming, Rich.
I know.
Goal's coming. Mike Twitter says bang, and guess who it is? It's that usual suspect. Mr. Philip Forsberg strikes again.
Oh, man.
Gosh,
I'm just going to say, his wrister is so fast. Like, he snaps that shot, and, like, you can't even see it.
Rich, when he gets in that circle, and he's got nobody blocking his shot, he's going to make it. It's like a slam dunk. It's the virtual... Absolutely. It's literally the virtual equivalent to an NBA player having a slam dunk.
Look at that. It's like, man, winding up and it's in there. And then
a goaltender is not stopping that. When he gets that open in the circle, it's not happening. No one's stopping that.
Yeah,
the only thing you can hope as a goaltender in that moment is two things. One, you get lucky and your like face mask just happens to hit it or something. Or he misses. He just misses by, which very rarely happens when he's in that spot.
Yep. Justin Gambino says, pay the man. Yes. Every time he scores one of those goals.
I was just about to ask you, Rich, what happens to David Poile?
He starts sweating. He's got to find some more money for this dude.
Exactly.
Man.
I think every time Philip Forsberg scores another goal, he has to go back and look at his checkbook and be like, all right, how am I going to add a little bit more money to his paycheck?
It keeps going up and going up.
All right, so the Preds are up 1-0 already. We're just now 5 minutes into regulation. So what a start for the Preds already. That's awesome. That's 18 goals. That's now 18 goals on the season for Philip Forsberg.
I love it. All
right.
I love the fast start, everything about it. It's really good to see. So,
well, especially when you're playing a team like the Kings. I mean, the Kings are definitely a team that, I mean, they're trying to find their way. They're definitely not chopped liver, but I mean, they're not the Golden Knights. They're not, one of your top tier elite teams.
Yeah.
So if you can get them down early, get their confidence down a little bit, maybe, get in their heads a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe you can. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying this is kind of what you got to be thinking here.
Yeah, they just showed before the game, Victor Arvidsson has 8 goals on the season so far, and he's 4th on the team with 8 goals. So
hey,
they're not
Victor Arvidsson. Let's talk about him for a little bit because we miss Arvy. Arvy is. I try not to think about it too much. I'm actually happy that he landed somewhere where he can be productive and prolong his career, obviously. And I mean, much respect to Victor Arvidsson for having a really good bounce back, strong first year with a new team. He's a really important role player for that team.
He is. And what's good, like you said, is that he went somewhere. They're building. They're kind of on the tail end of a rebuild, I guess. They weren't very good last year. They're getting better this year. So good things are happening for him. And I'm glad. I like watching him play. He's always been one of my favorites, and he was definitely a favorite when he was with Nashville. So
If you're a Kings fan, you have to love having him there. I mean, he's definitely been a positive addition for them.
Yep, absolutely.
And if you look at it from the Preds' perspective, as much as we miss Arvidsson, what would his role be on this team if he was still on the team right now? I mean, it's hard to say, you know.
Yeah, different
So
different
sometimes
look on the team. So
sometimes transactions like that work out for both sides mutually.
They do.
Sometimes it can happen that way.
Yep, that's right.
There doesn't have to always be a winner and a loser.
Yep. Dead Cell. It's so hard to call him that.
We're going to call him Dead Cell. That's his name on here, so that's what we're going to call him.
Harvey needed to change the scenery. He was lost in the shuffle and just needed another opportunity elsewhere. Yep, that sums it up perfectly. Awesome player. Did some really amazing things with Nashville under the old coach, but just just was having a hard time in the new regime, I guess would be a good way to put it.
We talked about it extensively when it was happening, and it was it was tough stuff. Yeah. All right, so as we focus on this game, we'll keep updating you. Of course, if you haven't done one of these episodes with us where we're watching the game with you live, we'll keep going back to the game as big things happen, of course. But we're going to get into our first topic of the night, which we call our opening face-off. For any of our new, viewers on our YouTube channel, don't be shy. Chime in on the comments tonight. Introduce yourself. Let us know you're here. We'd appreciate that. All right, and so let's get into our opening face-off tonight. And I brought it up earlier. It is, who are some of the best GMs currently right now in the NHL? The ones that are really standing out to us, the ones that are really doing a good job at what GMs are supposed to do, which is be a team builder.
Yes.
And you do that through trades. You do that through re-signing your free agents. You do that through the draft, obviously. And then we're going to tie it all up by saying, where is David Poile in on all that?
Yep. So we've talked about it before. Like, general managers, they have a very, very difficult job. I would say, I mean, I know, the coach is down in the trenches with the guys, but the decisions that the general manager makes make or break the whole team. And I'm not wired to even think that way, to make some kind of big, huge decision like that. So it's hard.
It's got to be a really difficult decision. Think about, especially in hockey, think about what all you're juggling here when it comes to, I'm sure when you're a general manager, you have a staff that you also consult. You're obviously consulting with your coach as well. Like, it's not just you making all the decisions, but you are the top person on the totem pole other than the owners. And so you really are leaned on to make those final decisions when it comes to, like we've been talking about with Philip Forsberg. That's going to ultimately come down to David Poile having to either get it done or letting him go. Like, it's going to come down to him.
Right.
And so anyway, I've got a general manager that's really taking the league by storm, and it's a team we just brought up, and maybe this will make their fans a little less defensive on us here and everything. And I've actually brought up this person as one of my favorite players growing up as a kid, and now he's turning out to be a really good general manager. He's really turning some heads in this area, and that's Stevie Yzerman for the Red Wings.
Absolutely. So when you sent your list of a few guys, I started doing a little research. I know you're probably going to bring up some of this stuff, but him and the general manager, who is now in Tampa Bay, linked to a very winning program, and now Yzerman is going to do probably the same thing in Detroit. So,
and that's kind of what you look for when a GM comes in. I mean, a lot of times when GMs come in to a new team, that team's a mess. I mean, you don't just bring in a new GM if the team has been doing well. The only time a new GM might come into a situation that's really, really strong is if that previous GM may have retired or left on their own terms. Yep. But most of the time, the situation is pretty dire, and it's a pretty big dumpster fire when a new GM comes into a team. So you look at it. You look at Steve Yzerman. I mean, the Red Wings have been a mess for a while, and we've always known it was going to be a really, really long rebuild for the Red Wings. And they get the butt of the joke that, hey, I mean, how much longer are you guys going to have to rebuild? Like, you've been bad for a while. And that's true, but I do see some light at the end of the tunnel for the Red Wings. I actually think they are starting to make some things happen. Yzerman, what really stands out to me with Yzerman, just on the outside looking in, not being a Red Wings fan, but just really looking at it, I feel like he's done really good in the draft. I think that's where he's really starting to make things happen, obviously.
Yeah.
He's got a really solid young core of players that's going to do good things for him as long as they keep developing. Of course, we know about Lucas Raymond. We know about their defenseman, Mo Sider, 2 Calder Trophy candidates. So Steve Yzerman's the first one I think of when we brought up this conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was doing a little bit of research and found out that he actually, after he was done playing, was vice president in Detroit for a time, and then expressed an interest in wanting to be a general manager of a team. And it didn't work out in Detroit at the time, but he then went on to be the general manager of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Mm-hmm. And do you have a list? Do you have the players listed that he drafted? Do you have that? I do. If
not.
You don't.
No, okay. List them off.
Okay. All right. I'm going to read these names.
On this one.
So these are either draft picks or players that Yzerman acquired their time. So here's the list: Nikita Kucherov, one of your favorite players, Andre Vasilevsky, Braden Point, Andre Palat, Anthony Cirelli, Carter Verhaeghe, and Callan Foote. And then he signed Yanni Gord. He acquired Ryan McDonough, Mikhail Sergachev, Eric Chernak, Pat Maroon, Kevin Shattenkirk, Curtis McElhaney, and Jan Ruda.
So what you're saying is the Tampa Bay Lightning need to still be paying royalties to Steve Yzerman for how he built that dynasty, or that dynasty in the making, if you will.
Absolutely.
I mean,
you look at those players.
That's insane, dude. That list is just like beyond even understanding how he hit a home run on almost all of those decisions. I'm not a fan of the Tampa Bay Lightning, but I know who every one of those players are, and I know how hard they play, and they're all very good players. And they were good enough to win 2 Stanley Cup titles in a row. Most of those guys that I just named off were on both of those teams. So there you go. So, I mean, that just tells you something about he's definitely got an eye for talent. So, that's he really does.
One. Yeah.
All right. So here's another one that's another former player, now general manager. And one thing I do got to say is, just because a player was a great player in the league doesn't mean that they're going to know how to do it in the front office.
Right.
You got to be careful about that. But a lot of times you do wonder, like, okay, obviously this player knows what it takes to make it in the NHL. You would think that they should be pretty good at evaluating talent, especially when it comes to young prospects and drafting in that regard. So the former player, great player, I should say, who is now doing really well as a GM, is Joe Sakic of the Colorado Avalanche.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you look at Colorado, powerhouse team, powerhouse. I mean,
they used to be a powerhouse in the late '90s, and then they went through some tough times. They went through some really tough times, and now he's really figured out a way to build a team that's good enough to win a Stanley Cup this year for sure. The big question about the Avalanche, and here's where the whole thing can come tumbling down, is they got to figure out a way to actually get to the Stanley Cup now. They keep coming up short. They keep, coming up short of making it to that Stanley Cup final. And I'm not going to dock him points for being one of the better GMs, because in the end, the GM gives you the team to do it. Now it's the job of the coaches and the players to produce on the ice.
Yep. Absolutely.
So Joe Sakic, he's got an A+ in my book for what he's done, because he's built the right team on paper. His job is done. Not done, but he's done what he has to do to build a Stanley Cup team on paper. Now the coaches and the players got to deliver.
Yeah, I mean, I had them pinned in to definitely be in the final last year. But that obviously didn't happen. I mean,
And look at what Sakic's been there since 2014,
Yeah.
and of course his big thing is he drafted Cal McCarr 4th overall in 2017. So give him a little feather in his cap for that one.
Yep.
And he's also managed to make he's managed to keep his superstars.
Mm-hmm.
He's managed to give them some long-term deals, something that terrifies us here in Nashville with David Poile.
Oh, yeah.
But you look at some of the you look at some of the long-term deals that Sakic has signed to his superstars recently. He gave Mikko Rantanen a 6-year, $9.25 million deal in 2019. I feel like Rantanen is that type of player, though.
Right.
Cal McCarr got a 6-year, $9 million a year in 2021. We all feel like he's a Norris Trophy caliber defenseman, so that's a long deal, but it's still it seems pretty fair to me if you ask me.
Yeah.
Gabriel Landeskog, we know about
that's comparable. That's good.
Yeah, we know about Gabriel Landeskog, 8 years, $7 million a year in 2021. So he locked up 2 really big players this year.
Yep.
And then, of course, Nathan McKinnon, we all know about him. Listen to this. In my mind, this was a bargain when you look back on it. At the time in 2016, Sakic signed Nathan McKinnon to a 7-year, $6.3 million deal.
That is
a steal.
That is.
So give Joe Sakic a big, big bonus point for that one.
That is. I remember Nathan McKinnon last season after they lost, he was really not happy.
Well, they know their window's not going to stay open forever, and now's the time they got to do it. So
yeah, definitely. But I see them definitely if it's going to happen within the next 2-3 years. It's got to for them. I mean, they're just so good. And they play so hard. So
yeah,
I don't know.
So that really popped off the screen to me when I was looking over. I was like,
yeah,
and he's got a no move clause too.
Wow.
So
that's crazy.
So that's kind of where Joe Sakic sticks out to me, is he's managed to keep his superstars and keep that Stanley Cup window open as long as possible.
Yeah.
So expect the Avalanche to be around for a while.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
But
it's crazy.
They're a cup or bust team though, for sure. There's no going away around that. They got to win a cup.
Yeah, and they've got all the pieces to do it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
But just
So let's update everyone here on the Kings and Preds as we're watching this game with all of our listeners here live on the YouTube channel and on Twitter. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter at Catfish Ice, also on Facebook and on Instagram, right, Rich? We're still on Instagram, right?
We are, yep.
All right, cool.
Catfish Ice.
Had to make sure. Rich is the official Instagram runner, so we had to make sure here. You gotta watch out. Rich likes to put a lot of selfies up there of himself.
Oh yeah, you know
I'm just kidding.
No sir.
All right. So Justin Gambino says maybe hot take, but I think you got to pay your team's best players. Not every player will come in a discount. If we pay Joey, I don't see how we don't pay Forsberg.
That's true.
Well, hey, comparing that to what we just talked about with Joe Sakic, that's a good point.
It is a good point. Yeah, I just don't know. Yeah, I mean, Poile has signed those big, long contracts, and it's bitten him until this year. Everything's looking good this year, but,
all right, so I got to step in here with this game because a lot's happening here in the Preds. They gotta tighten this thing up defensively here. The Kings already have 12. Kings already have 12 shots on goal, and they are really putting it to the Nashville defense right now. And so they've looked a little sloppy defensively here in their own zone.
Saros just had a save.
Yeah.
With the pad. Probably should have tried to cover that up.
Yeah, they've managed to keep the 1-0 lead, but they're kind of playing with fire here. I feel like the Kings are going to score quickly if this trend continues.
Mike Twitter's asking if I'm driving to Boston next week. No. I don't think so.
You don't want a road trip from Louisville to Boston? That sounds like a blast.
Might go one day. I'd like to go just to see a game.
That would be a really cool away game to go to, though.
Yeah, definitely.
That would definitely be a good away game.
Yeah, lots of history up there, so that would be kind of cool. But no, not sure. Let's see. Dead Cell again. Just have to be careful if Tovin and Tomasino Geno, whoever blows up and wants a big contract, won't have the cap to pay them after paying Joey, Duchesne, Forsberg, and Yossi. That's true, and therein lies the job that
you can't pay everybody.
Manager David Poile has,
and that's what we were just talking about, right? Is as much flack as we give our general managers, and obviously David Poile gets plenty of it. It's a really insanely difficult job that I don't envy any of those GMs that they have to do.
It's insane just to even think about it.
All right, so we can't leave out this GM, of course, and it's the GM that's literally played a part in possibly winning 3 cups in a row if the Tampa Bay Lightning figure out a way to win another one this year, and that is Julian Breeze. How is it again? Breeze Boy? Breeze Bois. That's so fun to say when you get the pronunciation down. Breeze Bois.
I had to look it up.
Breeze Bois. All right. I got to work on that one. Breeze Bois. All right.
Breeze Bois.
You got to do like enunciations for that one. All right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know what's cool about him, though, when I was really looking him up? He took a really short amount of time to do what he's done with his team. Now, of course, Yzerman came before him, but he has managed it. He's managed it well. Got to give him that.
Yep.
And it's his first ever job as a general manager in the NHL. Yeah. So I found that interesting.
Yzerman actually hired him as assistant GM. So he has managed to keep all those players, the majority of the ones that we named. And that's why Tampa Bay is so good. So you want to talk about juggling money.
Yeah, in 2019, he paid Vasilevsky 8 years, $9.5 million. So he locked up his franchise goaltender. I think Vasilevsky is totally, so far, proven him good on that one. Because everyone knows to be a Stanley Cup contender, you have to have a world-class Vezina-like goaltender. In most scenarios, you do.
Yeah.
There's been a few outliers where teams maybe kind of figured out a way to make it through the playoffs without an outstanding goaltender, but it's very rare.
Yep. And let's be honest, Vasilevsky got robbed last year for the Vezina.
And then this past year in 2021, I got to get used to saying that. I'm still getting adjusted to 2022 saying that. Braden Point got an 8-year deal, $9.5 million.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
So that's going back to the narrative that we just got from the comment there of you got to pay your superstars when they've earned it.
Yeah.
Even if it means you might have to shell out a bunch of money and do one of those long-term deals. I just think that the reason why Preds fans hate it so much is because they still have not forgotten about Kyle Turris and that mess. And then even though Matt Duchene is finally starting to somewhat live up to his contract, fans still have nightmares over that as well. So the big one's Kyle Turris that everyone gets freaked out about.
They do. And, well, everybody is really ticked off about that. But people still are mad about Duchene, even though he's playing better. I mean, they just – every time you see somebody talk about it, they're like, I can't believe that, we paid him that much or whatever. But, I mean, what's he in, like, year 3? This is like his 3rd or 4th season of an 8-year contract. So,
yeah, and what have I been saying for a while? We're stuck with him for a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
glad to see that he's playing better. That's for sure. So,
but yeah, so that's I'm not going to put, even though he's won back-to-back cups, I'm not going to put him ahead of the first 2 he named because, like I said, the cupboard was already stacked for him when he came in.
Yeah, I mean,
so I kind of dock some points for that. I mean, I want to see if he can keep it rolling. Eventually, he's going to have to rebuild his system here, and that's where he's going to be truly tested as a general manager. Is once those aging stars get a little older, once he has to start dishing out money and figuring out ways to pay some of these role players, that's when his resume will really be tested.
Yeah, I guess his what he's done well is handled what he was given well and signed the people he needed to. Obviously, they didn't protect Yanni Gord. He went to the Kraken. Some other guys have moved around, but like he's kept the main core together of like
Blake
Stamkos
Coleman. Blake Coleman was lost to the Flames, I believe. Which we knew going into the offseason there was no way the Lightning were going to be able to keep everybody.
No, because they were over the cap when they won the Stanley Cup. But but they've kept the big guys, the big guns, I like to call them, Hedman and Stamkos and Kucherov. They've kept them in place, and they still have Pat Maroon, I guess. I don't think he makes that much money though.
I've got like a short list of GMs here. I just want to run down that I also think are honorable mention that should be mentioned as really good rising GMs in the league right now. Bill Zito for the Florida Panthers. I mean, nobody talks about the Florida Panthers and how good they are. I mean, they are a fast team. They score a lot of goals. They've got some really electric superstars like Barkov. And he's done a good job for them as their GM. They just get overlooked a lot because they're just not in a big market, and they're a Southern team, and they've never really won anything. They're kind of like the Preds in a way, like they just get overlooked. Even when they're playing really well, they get overlooked.
Yeah, they're playing well this year. Yep.
You got Kelly McCrimmon of the Vegas Golden Knights. For the longest time, the narrative was that the Vegas Golden Knights benefited from the expansion rules that were changed, and that's why they became so good. And honestly, that's a little bit of a myth because a lot of the key players that Vegas Golden Knights have turned out to depend on were not acquired through that original expansion draft.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And so he's managed to build a team outside of that expansion draft.
Yeah. He took a lot of heat last season for getting rid of Marc-Andre Fleury, but then you see Robin Lehner comes in there. Absolutely. So, that's one of those unpopular moves that you got to make.
Let's think about the acquisitions that Vegas has had. Mark Stone was a big acquisition. Pacioretty, Pietrangelo.
Lehner. Lehner. Yeah, all those
guys. They've built their team, and they've drafted really well also.
Yeah.
So I got to throw him in there. And then I got a team we're playing tonight, a dark horse candidate. That's going to be the Rob Blake, GM of the LA Kings, just because he's building up a really good prospect pool, and he's building a team that's eventually going to probably crack back into being a playoff contender very soon.
I would say so. They were horrible last season.
They've got one of the best prospect pools in the league.
They do. Man, they just
we got a crashing into the net into Saros here. The puck did go into the net, but it looks like they're calling a penalty on the Kings.
I would hope so.
Go ahead and wipe that goal out.
That's insane. Back to the Kings. They're playing really good this year, better than they did last year, that's for sure. And I think, like you said, they're building something, and they got a good pool.
So this play is interesting here because I'm trying to be totally unbiased here. Kempe kind of went in there a little out of control, but Benning also played a part in somewhat shoving Kempe into Saros. I'm just going to say that's what the Kings coach is totally arguing that right now.
It's because he high-sticked Benning right in the face.
Oh, okay. I missed that part. I didn't see that angle.
Well, he was pushing Benning's face up as they were going towards the goal. So Benning was trying to push him away, and
gotcha.
And that's when he crashed into
when I see that, what worries me the most is Saros getting hurt.
Absolutely, that's what.
I don't like that.
Justin Gambino says no one hurts the juice.
Yeah, because both Benning and Kempe were coming in totally out of control, locked in with each other, and that's how you see goaltenders get injured.
Yeah. Something bad happens to Saros long term,
it's going to be bad.
That would not bode well.
That's no offense to David Riddick at all.
Nope.
But he's not UC Saros.
No, definitely not.
All right. And guess what? Guess what? The Preds just made them pay. They score quick on the power play, Mr. Rich Howe.
I'm catching up.
And guess who it is? Guess who it is? Who was it that commented earlier saying they want to see a Matt Duchene goal?
There you go.
Reveal yourself, because I forgot. Someone said they wanted to see a Matt Duchene goal tonight. Who was it?
Justin.
Justin, I need you to go ahead and start predicting the future for us. Yes, because awesome. You just said tonight that you wanted to see a Matt Duchene goal, and we just got a Matt Duchene goal.
We got a good look at that top 10 power play. Awesome.
We did.
Awesome.
All right, so Matt Duchene with his 14th goal of the season, his first goal since November 27th.
Wow, that seems crazy.
That's been a while. It's also kind of crazy that he's at 14 goals still, even after not scoring a goal for that long.
Yeah, dead cell. Give me them fantasy points. There you go. I'll take it.
Me and Rich are in a close one in our fantasy hockey matchup this week.
We are.
We're in a nail biter. Close. You know, the fantasy hockey league, not to stray away too much right now, has become kind of a headache just because of this whole COVID thing. Like, because every time I want to go pick up a player, like, every player is, like, on injured reserve.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm trying to manage. I'm trying to hang around here.
Yeah. It's fun, but like you said, it is a little bit of a headache at times trying to get people and to remember to do it every day. So,
all right, so we're at the second intermission here. Preds are up 2-0. They are jumping on opponents early. That's the theme we're seeing in the last two games this week. They did it against Vegas. They built themselves a cushion, and they've done it tonight against the Kings, who are, I think it's fair to say, a much lesser opponent. But still, we all know in the National Hockey League, you never count any team out, even the Coyotes. Even if it was the Coyotes, we wouldn't count them out.
No, and that's coming up. They're coming up Saturday. It's similar as well to the Vegas game. They didn't have very many shots in the first period, and it's 6-13. From when you mentioned it the first time, they only had two more shots, and one of them was obviously that goal. So,
yeah, they're efficient. That's for sure.
Yeah, we'll take it.
We'll take it. All right, so let's wrap up our opening face-off this general manager talk. Best GMs in the NHL that we think are currently the ones that are rising, the ones that have really stood out above the rest. Now, here's the million-dollar question, Rich, both figuratively and literally. Where does David Poile fit into that conversation at all?
That's tough. He's
sorry. I mean, come on, man. You knew the question was coming.
I did know the question was coming, and I didn't really prepare. I would say mid to really good.
Oh wow.
They're successful, but they aren't like over the top successful. And if you think about what's happened in the past 3-4 seasons, this is the first season in 3 years that we've been like really super excited about because of how well they're playing. So I say that, but I also, what we said earlier about how hard the job is, like everybody gives him grief for Matt Duchene. Everybody gives him grief for giving Ryan Johansson a big contract. But what people forget is like when we got these guys, they were playing amazing on their other teams. Same thing for Mikael Granlund, playing amazing for Minnesota.
Well, Mikael Granlund's turning out to look good for him.
He has, but it took
Would you rather have – I mean, I love Nick Bonino, but would you rather have Nick Bonino, right? Or no, Kevin Fiala. I'm sorry, I'm getting the trades mixed up here.
Yeah.
I mean, Kevin Fiala has not put up the same numbers as Mikael Granlund this year.
Definitely not.
He's still serviceable. He's still a decent player for Minnesota.
Yeah.
But he hasn't he's not living up to what Mikael Granlund has exploded to be this year.
Right. Yeah, and I mean it's hard, you know, it's like a crapshoot. Like you get these guys in and you expect them to do well and you pay them a lot of money and they have bad seasons. Like how can you can't fault the general manager.
Well, I got to tell you, the perspective has definitely shifted back into the positive direction for him.
It has.
Based on Mikael Granlund, for instance. You know, he was a sore spot for David Poile's decision making at first. As far as like people were starting to not like that move initially, even though it looked good on paper. Matt Duchene's having a huge bounce back year, so that's starting to not look as bad. Ryan Johansson's been a little bit better. So he doesn't look as bad of a move. Here's the really bad decision that David Poile's made this year. And he's human. He's going to make some bad decisions. Why did you not figure out a way to keep Rem Pitlick?
That is really looking like a bad.
That's his big. Decision. That's his big swing and a miss this year. Is not. I mean, how do you let Rem Pitlick? How do you not find space for him somewhere?
I don't get it because we used to get excited to see Rem Pitlick get called up and he's going to get to play a little bit. Now he's playing every night for the Wild.
Well, and you invested all that time in him. I mean, he was around for a while, you know, and then to just let him go like that for nothing. That's his big miss. But
that is pretty bad.
Other than that, I mean, his moves are looking good this year. He finally listened to the. I'm not saying he actually listened to the fan base, but he did what the fan base really wanted him to do, which is let some of these youthful players play. He protected Tanner Jeannot, give him a big bonus point for that one.
Oh yeah, that's huge.
A certain local radio personality is getting burned today because he didn't want to protect Tanner Jeannot.
Yeah, I saw that.
We'll go ahead and let everyone fill in the blank on who we're talking about there. I'm sure someone will say it in the comments. But yeah, so that's got to be a really good looking decision for him. I think the Ryan Ellis trade is a good point for him, a positive point.
It's looking like it. It wasn't. It didn't seem like it at the time, and people were really angry about it. But,
I mean, look at Ryan Ellis. He can't even find his way onto the ice. He's hurt all the time.
Yeah,
he's not producing hardly anything for the Philadelphia Flyers, and that was kind of the book on him. I mean, that's kind of how he's seen it. So his most recent moves have all pretty much worked in his favor as of late.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's another the other side of the coin with being a general manager. If you remember back when they did get rid of Ryan Ellis and when they got rid of Victor Arvidsson, for 2 years, all people said was, we need to rebuild this team. We need to get younger people in. And then Poile does what everybody asked. He got rid of some guys who, were injury prone or didn't play as good. We're having trouble in John Hines' system. And then he took a bunch of grief for it. Everybody's like, I wanted you to get rid of people, but not the people that I like. So it's a crapshoot.
And then also his drafts have been really good lately too. I mean, look at his big draft picks lately. Philip Tomasino, Alex Carrier. I mean, I know Alex Carrier is going a little bit further back, but just recently, Philip Tomasino. We have to, Yaroslav Askarov is kind of going through some tough times in Russia, but he's still a generational goaltender that everyone expects to be an outstanding draft pick when it's all said and done. Luke Evangelista is tearing it up in the OHL. All of his prospects that he's drafted recently, the top ones, all are on the right track and look to be really good players eventually. So David Poile's done a lot of good things. Now, I think a lot of the reasons why people give David Poile so much criticism, and it's totally understood, is he's been this franchise's only goaltender. He's been this franchise's only general manager. And so people are ready for a change. And they are ready for a new vision. They are ready for maybe someone to come in here. But to do that, I think it's going to take him stepping away on his own.
Yeah.
It's going to be on his terms. He's going to have to go out on his terms. I don't see him going anywhere based on what the owners want to do. It's going to be up to him.
Yeah. He's made some successful moves and done what he needed to do.
I put him,
but they haven't won the ultimate prize, and they've had a hard time.
And of course you can definitely stick that against him because he has been the only GM, and he's had over 2 decades to bring a cup here, and he hasn't done it. So that is totally fair criticism on that point, and that's why people are ready to move on because. If he hasn't done it in over 2 decades, when will he do it? Totally fair. That's why, to round this discussion out, I will put David Poile firmly right in the middle. Yep. I'll put him somewhere around, 14, 13, 15. He's around the midway point of GMs. So,
it's fair.
And to go find another GM, you're always going to be taking a risk, just like getting a head coach. Maybe even a bigger risk, because you could end up going and getting a GM who has a completely different philosophy on how they want to build a franchise, and it can end up blowing up in your face. So it's not just like it's not easy to go find a new head coach. It's really not easy to go find a new GM.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. And
so be careful what you wish for, Smashville. Yeah. That's all I got to say.
They'll probably wind up hiring his son, I bet, is what's going to happen.
That's what it seems like would happen. Yeah. If he goes out on his own terms, that's what you would expect to happen, most likely. They would just
kind of move him in. Somebody the other day, I don't remember who it was, said something that I thought was pretty interesting. Said that they probably won't do a full-blown rebuild until Roman Yossi's gone, which I thought that kind of made some sense because Roman Yossi is like, he's an elite player, and do you want him drugged through a
waste his best years?
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be a bad look.
Makes a lot of sense.
What's going to be really telling, again, when we get this big dark cloud of what to do with Philip Forsberg, that's going to give us a really clear indication of what the vision is.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And also what does Poile do at the trade deadline? Is he a buyer now? I mean, that's a big one, and we'll get more into that as we get closer to it in future episodes, of course.
It was Dead Cell, aka UC Soros. That's right. I remember you saying that now. That is a very, very smart point because we just don't want to see Yossi suffer through a full-blown like Arizona rebuild. I don't think they'd go that bad.
Well, but again, now it looks like Poile could end up being a buyer at the deadline here. If the Preds keep winning and they're in second or first place and they're hanging around, all of a sudden your radar starts pinging and you're like, I'm thinking Stanley Cup this year.
Hey, if they can.
All I'm missing is one big, superstar. I know that makes some people nervous because that would mean that you would have to trade away some young assets, or maybe you would have to part ways with a first-round pick, a second-round pick. That makes people nervous because then you're once again mortgaging your future to go all in for a Stanley Cup. We'll save that for when we get closer.
I think what you just said right there with what we talked about, how Poile has not won a Stanley Cup and he's getting on the back end of his career, I would see him.
It's going to be very hard for him to resist.
I'm going to go all in to try to make this happen. And this, and if you got the players right now and everybody's good at the trade deadline and you can pick somebody up, why not? I mean,
for sure.
I mean, that's what a lot of teams do. It's smart. It's a smart thing to do if you think you have a legitimate shot. So,
for sure. All right, that was an extra long opening face-off, but you know what? It's a really big topic.
Fine.
Best GMs in the league. Where does David Poile fit? Let us know what you think about David Poile. Comment on our YouTube channel while you're watching tonight, or let us know at Catfish Ice on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, of course. We are presented by DraftKings, and we are part of the Hockey Podcast Network. And hockey fans, DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NHL, has a no-brainer deal for all of our hockey fans out there. All you got to do for new customers is bet just $1 on any NHL game and win $100 in free bets if either team scores. The NHL got rid of ties in 2005, so you know someone is going to light the lamp. That is a good trivia question to ask somebody. When did the league get rid of ties? Right there, 2005. So you got to win. This is a very easy offer from DraftKings. So go download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code THPN. Throw down $1 on any NHL game and win $100 in free bets if any team scores a goal in an NHL game. You win $100 in free bets. That's promo code THPN this week at the DraftKings Sportsbook app, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Must be 21 years or older in New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager is required. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER, and restrictions do apply.
There you go.
All right.
Free money.
All right.
Did you just see that commercial that was just on Who's Going to Be a Bridgestone?
I was not looking at the commercial. Not looking at the commercial.
September 17th, the Killers in Bridgestone Arena.
That'll be good.
Might have to go see that. I don't know.
All right, go ahead and book your trip down here, man.
Might do that.
All right, I'll go see the Killers. I like the Killers.
Yeah.
They had some good hits.
Yeah.
They got a lot of good hits, actually. I'd go see the Killers.
That'd be cool. Anyway.
All right, second period is about to start. Preds are up 2-0. What do we want to do next? We want to let's get into our Central Power Rankings. Battle for the Central Power Rankings.
Oh yeah, the good old.
Let's do that. Before we do that, I gotta share this rankings that I came across from the Locked On NHL podcast network, and I'm not trying to talk smack about another podcast network. That's not what this is about. I'll let you be the judge of where they rank the Predators. They did their full NHL power rankings.
Yep.
They ranked the Nashville Predators number 17 in the league.
That's insane. That's insane.
I don't see how it's even possible, being that when this ranking was done, they were in first place in their division.
They put the Jets
How can the first place team I know the points are still close, but how can the first place team in the division, who has been on a hot streak that the Preds have been on, beating some really good teams in a tough division like the Central Division is, how can you put them all the way back at number 17? It just makes no sense to me.
I don't understand it at all.
They got the Panthers at number 1. Okay, I wouldn't put the Panthers at number 1, but no arguments there. Canes number 2, Capitals number 3, Maple Leafs number 4, and the Lightning round out their top 5. They got the Minnesota Wild all the way at number 6. So
I don't know.
It's kind of their top teams there.
It's a little suspect.
The weirdest. So here's the ones I don't understand how they could be ahead. They got the Ducks all the way up at number 11. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
They got I wouldn't put the Jets ahead of the Preds. I wouldn't even put the Penguins ahead of the Preds.
No.
The Blues and the Preds, I guess you could say, are interchangeable, but they got the Blues ahead of the Preds. The Bruins are ahead of the Preds. I wouldn't have any arguments with this list if they had the Preds around 13 or 12, but all the way back at 17, that's just a slap in the face.
That doesn't make any sense. Pittsburgh, though, they're on a 9 or 10 game win streak right now.
And then, of course, Money Puck. Now, Money Puck, who does a lot of the probabilities, they do the playoff odds. MoneyPuck.com is a really good website to go to. They rank a lot of the line combinations, and who's the most effective lines. They had the Preds at number 12 in their power rankings.
See,
so a little better.
A
little more respect.
Yeah.
All right. So number 8 and number 7 this week.
Oh,
do we still have the Coyotes and the Blackhawks?
We do.
How do you know I do?
I do. I do
too.
I do
too. But
we talked last week about moving Chicago down to 8th, but I couldn't do it.
So you want to hear something funny though? So the Coyotes and the Blackhawks are playing tonight.
The
blockbuster game of the week.
Scalpers night off.
And that's way better than what I came up with. And the Coyotes are winning 5-4 in this barn burner out in the desert.
Crazy.
Coyotes are 5-. I would laugh so hard if the Coyotes figure out a way to beat the Blackhawks.
That would be pretty awesome. So the Capitals.
Wait, Rich, listen to this. The Coyotes have 5 goals on just 22 shots tonight.
That is crazy. That's crazy.
I feel really bad for Fleury.
Yeah, I do too. I always feel bad for him. So the Washington Capitals, have lost the same amount of games that the Coyotes have won. They've only won 6 games, and the Washington Capitals have only lost 6 games.
That's pretty bad.
That's bad.
Well, we're all pulling for the Coyotes to beat the Blackhawks tonight, so let's hope that score holds up there.
Yeah.
But until that happens, the gap is still pretty wide between the Coyotes and the Blackhawks. Coyotes are all the way down at 15 points. The Blackhawks have 27 points. So those two teams are locked in there pretty firmly at number 8 and number 7. My number 16 right now is the Winnipeg Jets.
Oh, there you go. I have Dallas, but you go ahead.
Well,
number 6.
I don't know if you saw. And I know you might have done these rankings before tonight's games. I know you sometimes do that. But I usually like to let it ride a little bit before I really make my rankings in stone. And I gotta say, the Stars really stepped up. Their first game back since being on COVID hiatus.
Oh, yeah.
And they beat the Panthers 6-5 in a shootout tonight.
Wow, that's huge for them.
So I'm definitely putting the Stars at number 5 on that one.
Yeah.
That's a big win.
So for Dallas, I made a note. I said they're finally playing above 500. They still struggle, but they have a 2-game win streak going. So,
well, they had a 2-game winning streak going before they went on hiatus. Now they got a 3-game winning streak
now
going.
Now it's a 3-game. Yeah, I didn't know that they won.
They missed a ton of time, and that's a big win against the Panthers, who are one of the best teams in the league. So big props to the Stars. I mean,
yeah,
the Stars are such a hard team to figure out. We got Snarky Squeegee, which is our buddy CJ. It's got to be.
I would think so. Maybe, I don't know.
Snarky Squeegee says 4 through 6 are all so very close in Dallas, Winnipeg, and the Blues.
Yeah,
very true. That's why these rankings are so difficult every week.
They are.
But we try our best. So
yeah.
I do have the Jets at number 6, and I have got the Stars at number 5 after their big, huge upset win over the Panthers tonight. Who do you have?
It is CJ. What's up, CJ? Thanks for joining us, man.
We got to have CJ back on the pod soon.
Oh yeah,
he has a lot of Milwaukee Admirals knowledge. He lives up there. He's probably a bigger Admirals fan than he is a Preds fan. I would suspect. Yeah. He watched a lot of our top players before they became Preds. Let's just put it that way.
So when we were chatting in the our messaging thing on Twitter today, and we were all saying, "Oh, it's snowing here," and Kyle Perkins was like, "It's snowing a little bit," and then CJ's like, "It's been snowing for 3 days where I live." So.
Yeah, that's kind of like CJ probably has a really good laugh at us for getting excited about a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he showed me a picture one time of like huge piles of snow. It snows all the time up there.
Hey, so. CJ, we got 5 inches of snow down here, and the whole neighborhood's going crazy. Like it's just like the best day ever. So.
Absolutely. He says I'm mad about Novak getting sent down. Yeah, a lot of people were when that happened.
I think we need to calm down a little bit though. I think Novak just needs a reset. He's missed a lot of time, and maybe he'll definitely be back up soon.
I think he was playing too good tonight.
Yeah, he'll be back up soon. I think they just don't want to rush him back into a game until he can get warmed up again. I would suspect that's what it's got to be.
Yep. So I had Winnipeg at number 5, and at the time they were on a 3-game win streak, and I was wondering if things are starting to turn around. But then Justin Gambino says the Jets are getting smashed right now by the Avs.
Well, the Avs are smashing a lot of people right now.
They sure are.
But
You're right.
Yeah. But it's totally true though. It is really hard to rank 4 through 6 right now because I mean the Central Division, like it usually is just stacked right now.
Yep.
I mean. You go ahead and take out the Blackhawks and the Coyotes, and the division is very, very close. It's once these games start evening out, because you got a lot of teams who are way behind in games played. Mm-hmm. Once these games start evening out, this division is going to be another close slugfest down to the end, probably. But
we know
another banger. Mike Twitter's ahead of us.
He is. And you live in Nashville. How's that possible?
Come on, Mike Twitter. That's all right. We're not mad at you, Mike. We're not mad at you, but we got another Preds goal. Our guy Matt Luff.
No way.
Matt Luff. Hey,
awesome.
CJ. Likely, if Matt Luff wasn't in the game, it would be Tommy Novak. I'm just saying.
Look at there. Yeah, jump on that glass, young man.
Oh, and if you had this on your bingo card that it was going to be Michael McCarron that sets up Matt Luff for a beautiful goal, you would be correct.
Go buy a
lottery ticket. And go play DraftKings as well.
Yeah, do that instead.
So that is Matt Luff's first career NHL goal. How cool is that?
Wow. That's awesome.
So Michael McCarron, of all people, sets up Matt Luff. And the Preds are up 3-0.
CJ says he's also been doing good in Milwaukee. That's awesome. See, that's awesome.
Hey, this is totally a testament to why the Preds are, for one, I'm going back to that ranking again. This is, for one, why the Preds are not the number 17 team. They're not ranked that far back. Is because they are deep. They have guys that they can beat you up and down the lineup and score big goals, and that's proof right there.
Yep.
They don't just rely on Roman Josi, Philip Forsberg, and Mikael Granlund and a couple other guys to do all their dirty work when it comes to scoring. They've got so many contributors up and down the lineup right now who are making big plays right now for them.
Absolutely. Oh, this is funny. CJ says, which says something. We're struggling in Milwaukee this year. All the prospects got called up, and they are hungry.
Well,
Amen.
it's so tough for a minor league team. Yeah. Like, it's got to be really tough as a fan of a minor league team to because like you want to see your NHL team do well, because that means that your prospects are doing well. But it's got to be hard when your team can't get any chemistry going, because you're constantly getting all of your best players called up to the big leagues. And I think that's the biggest reason why Milwaukee is struggling a little bit more than people expected, is they've just had so much roster turnover this year.
Yeah. I saw a score like the other night they played, and it was like 7-2 or something. That's just, I feel bad for them.
Yeah. But that's the tough life of a minor league team.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so where are we at? We're at number 4, aren't we? I already lost track here. We're at number 4.
Yep.
All right, my number 4 team is the Minnesota Wild.
Mine too. Absolutely.
A team that I once had at number 1 for a while. I've just kind of slipped them back. Yep. I thought they missed a good opportunity to put up a statement in the Winter Classic, and they just looked terrible against St. Louis.
Yeah.
So I'm docking them a lot of points for that showing. They did come out and beat the Boston Bruins tonight, so I'll give them a little bit of credit for that.
They did.
They're not impressing me as much as I thought they were going to be impressing me so far.
Yeah.
They're still a very quality team. They've got some good pieces, of course. And did you see Kaprizov go off the ice, take that nasty hit tonight?
I did.
That's going to be a tough blow for them if they lose him for a long amount of time.
He got plowed into by, what's that guy's name? Frederick.
Yeah.
Nailed him, I believe. So, yeah, I have Minnesota as well. I put they were on a 2-game losing streak at the time. They won tonight, but they lost the Winter Classic in their backyard, and they did not play that great in the Winter Classic at all. They got jumped on early by St. Louis. They eventually scored 4 goals. It was 4-6, but
yeah,
I mean, it was over.
I'm not gonna do it. But I'm this close. I'm like this close to wanting to put the Stars ahead of the Wild, because the Stars also whooped the Minnesota Wild right before they went on their COVID hiatus.
Yeah.
But I'm going to keep Minnesota at number 4, and I'm going to keep the Dallas Stars at number 5. But it's razor thin. You can flip-flop them, honestly.
Yep.
We got a breakaway here. We have a breakaway, and UC Saros makes the stop.
Man, that's awesome. Oh,
Carrier was in hot pursuit, but he did get beat a little bit. Let's see it here.
You
know what? Actually, I got to give Carrier a lot of credit for that. He got into the play and really affected the way that Kempe could get that shot. Kempe's been everywhere for them tonight, for the Kings.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a penalty shot.
Yeah. Come on, Carrier.
Oh, no.
We'll see. Here it is. I guess you just saw it.
Don't sound so upset.
No, I'm not upset.
So that means your boy Juice made a big save.
That's right.
All right, so Saros flashed the pad. What do we love about Saros? What do we love about Saros? He's flexible. He knows how to move. He knows how to cut. For being as small as he is, he's a smaller goaltender for an NHL goaltender. He knows how to cover that net beautifully.
Yeah, I mean, like we said earlier, I was just thinking about this. If he got hurt long term, be tough, bad news. But
I just thought of this, and I'm gonna really put it to you here. Who's the bigger team MVP, UC Saros or Roman Josi?
Ooh, man.
You got to answer. I'm sorry, Rich. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna. Hmm.
I don't even know how you answer that. Honestly, this is not even fair. And honestly,
I
I don't even
want.
want you. I don't even think I want you to answer now because it's really like cruel of me to ask you that. I feel like a
I
bad
want
person for
to.
that
I
question.
want to say. I want to say Saros. I want to
This
because
that
it's
question
tough.
just made me feel dirty inside, though.
It does a little bit, but that's all right.
I shouldn't have asked that question. I'm
That's
sorry.
okay.
That
I
was
want to say
wrong.
Saros because we've seen him keep them in games a lot, and
You
he's
know
made
what?
some really huge saves. So I want to say that, but Yossi,
I'm going Yossi.
yeah. So did Justin Gambino. It was clear
Yeah.
as day when he was out. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I I still think the Predators with let's say David Riddick was their primary starting goaltender. I think they would still be they wouldn't be as good as they're playing. They wouldn't be up this high in the standings, but I still think they'd be viable.
Yeah,
They
and
wouldn't be
Riddick would
this good.
probably
I'm not saying they'd be this good. It's a tough question though. I mean, it's
Riddick.
really a lose-lose
Yeah,
situation.
Riddick could probably get in a good rhythm though. Eventually, like he
Yeah.
just probably has a hard time
He's a
sometimes because he
former
doesn't get to
starter. I
play.
mean, he started in this league before,
Yeah,
so
yeah, and it's
all
not like
right.
he's horrible.
We're up to number 3 now. Give me your number 3 team in the battle for the Central Power Rankings
Number
this week.
3, St. Louis Blues. Um,
We are right on the same page.
yeah,
I got
I
the
put
Blues at number 3 as well.
I put they're still playing good. Um, they got beat by the Penguins, couldn't regain that top spot. That would have put them back in number one. But
I'm looking for every reason I can find to drop the St. Louis Blues back, but I mean, I can't do it. Every time I want to do it, they figure out a way to notch another impressive win. They completely dominated the
yeah,
Winter Classic.
yep,
Tarasenko is starting to really, really play well for them.
yep. I
Watch
can't.
out for that. Watch out for that man, Vladimir
Yeah,
Tarasenko. When he is on, he is one of the most lethal scorers out there.
yeah. I don't. I usually don't watch St. Louis that much because I can't stand to watch Jordan Bennington. But you can't argue with they're playing well. I mean, I will give them props for that. And they jumped all over Minnesota in the Winter Classic.
They did
So,
lose on Wednesday night in their most recent game, 5-3 to the Pittsburgh Penguins,
yep,
which is a good result for the Preds because that's one of the teams you're going back and forth with right now. So
yep.
currently, the Preds are still 1 point ahead of the Blues for first place, and they played the same amount of games. Colorado's still 2 points back
With
with 4 fewer games played.
yeah. Oh, 4 now. Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah, because Colorado did win their game tonight. So
Yep,
no matter what happens tonight, the Preds will be in first place leaving tonight. So there's
yep,
that. All
yep.
right. Well, that perfectly sets up our top 2, and I don't think there should be too much suspense here. But my second place team is definitely the Preds.
Yep.
I
Mine
cannot
too.
put the I can't put the Preds in first place. I'm sorry. I know they're technically in first place, but there's a 4-game differential. The goal differential.
Massive.
The Avalanche are plus 33, whereas the Preds are just plus 13. The point percentage is a big difference there. Eventually, Colorado's probably going to pass the Predators up, you would think, in the standings once the games even out. But I will say,
You would think that, yeah.
the Preds are really starting to make a statement here. I think me and you both in these rankings for the longest time were afraid to move the Predators up to this area. We kept saying we're not ready for it. We can't do it. There's no arguing against it now.
No, no, you have to put them up there.
They've done so much to prove that they belong up here.
Yeah, the win over Vegas was big. I know that was a big game that everyone was talking about. You know, they needed to win and or whatever. It was like a statement game, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. And they did it. It was a little dicey at the end, but they did it, and they're playing good. But the question is, like, can they keep it up? And that's the huge question. Can they keep on this trajectory they're on? So.
Mm-hmm. You look at the
Yep.
Avalanche; they've got 3 wins now since returning from the pause because they had an extended, really long, almost
Yep.
3 weeks without playing a game,
Yep.
and they've won all 3 of their games since coming back. They beat Anaheim 4-2, they beat Chicago 4-3, and then they spanked Winnipeg tonight. What was that final score? 7-1.
Wow.
I mean, come on now.
Wow. That's
Going into tonight's games, so it's probably even a bigger gap now, but the Avalanche were the highest scoring team in the NHL, and this is by a pretty big margin. Going into tonight's games, they were the only team in the entire NHL averaging more than 4 goals per game. The only team. Is that not a little?
crazy.
That's a little mind blowing to you. At least it
That
is
is
to
very
me.
mind blowing. Yeah,
The only
definitely.
team, and they just put up 7 goals tonight. So that goals per game average is about to shoot up even more.
Yep.
They are a top 10 power play. They really do everything well in all the key categories. They're right there in the top 10 in most categories. So
Yeah.
and they've got the star power to do it. They've got the goaltender to do it. They've got every piece in place to win a Stanley Cup this year.
CJ says the top lines for the Avs scored 5 of the 7 goals.
Wow.
CJ's an
CJ's
Avalanche
an
fan as
Avs
well.
fan. He's an Avs fan as well. Which I know it's got to be weird for some people. How can you be an Avs fan and a Preds fan? But we'll allow it. We'll allow it.
It's all good.
Rich
has
is
their
a Bruins
favorites.
fan, so it's okay.
It's all right. Totally all right.
I don't have a team. I stay 100% true to the Preds.
You should have a second though.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
It's got to be somebody.
There's not. There's not.
You
There's
should-
players. There's players I like, but
You
there's
should root
not.
for Detroit because that was your childhood
No,
team.
I can't do that. No, definitely not after the week we've seen with their fans. That's definitely not happening. Definitely
You're
not
right.
happening.
You're
All right. Well, that's actually perfect. Well, let's go ahead and talk about that. So our buddy Kyle Perkins really shook some people up with that tweet he sent out. Beautiful meme highlighting offensive zone starts, defensive zone starts. The main part of the argument was
Good Lord.
Trevor Zegras, Lucas Raymond, and Tanner Jeannot talking about the Calder Trophy race. And the only point Kyle was making was that Tanner Jeannot should at least be in the conversation.
Absolutely.
And these Red Wings fans about lost their collective minds over this.
They did.
I mean, like you said, what, 50,000 Twitter impressions?
It was 70,000.
70,000.
But that was earlier today. Like stuff still comes through.
I had to mute the conversation because
did
it was
too, 'cause
like
I couldn't
it
take
got
it.
to the point where I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh my gosh. And these people were taking it so seriously. They weren't really listening to logic at this point. And you even got some personal insults thrown around there, which is really when I just lose all interest and I'm like, I'm out of this. Like, this has gotten ridiculous. And all Kyle did was put out some really good stats and facts to open up the conversation. You know what I find really hilarious? You didn't see any Anaheim Ducks fans in the conversation defend their boy Zegras. It's like it was all Red Wings.
Yeah.
I guess they don't care about their rookie at all. I don't know.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I just it just got to be too much. And what sucks is that Kyle was super respectful.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't put on there Raymond sucks, Detroit sucks, or anything. He's just like
It was just stats. It was literally just stats.
And saying, "Hey, Jeannot deserves some recognition."
Yeah.
And for
And I think we
for
all
what he's
know.
doing.
I think we all know in the end, it's probably going to be either Lucas Raymond. It could be Sider though. This Moritz Sider guy is a defenseman who is also really well and shouldn't be overlooked either. He wasn't even in the image.
No, yeah, he wasn't. CJ said Ducks fans are confused because half their team is rookies. That's true.
They can't
That's
decide
absolutely
which
true.
one. Although, hey, Trevor Zegras is a pretty electrifying player.
Oh, they scored.
Yeah, we got another breakaway.
Those breakaways kill them, man.
Yeah, can't let that happen.
No, that's
Pretty
all right.
good, pretty good move put on UC Saros there. You just can't let those breakaways happen. Those defensive breakdowns.
Apparently, it was Carrier's fault.
Apparently so.
It was. He lost the puck.
He's had a couple of the goal. Carrier's had a few of those blunders this season.
Yep.
He had one in the Vegas game.
Whipped it.
To open the Vegas game, he had a really bad blunder.
Yeah.
And he got lucky, and it didn't end up being a goal.
And he caused that penalty shot earlier.
He's still a really young player. Let's give him some slack here. Of course, the Preds are still without Dante Fabro, so
Yep.
You know, of course,
Yep.
that has nothing to do with Carrier. Carrier would be in regardless, but still,
Dante
you're definitely
Fabro.
ready to get Fabro back.
Dante Fabro's at home putting pictures of his new dog on Instagram, so that's what he's doing with his time.
There you go. Hey, nothing wrong with that.
No, that's awesome.
All right, you ready for some Preds trivia, Rich? We're going to bring Preds trivia back.
Here we go.
All right. Everyone that's watching on the stream right now, don't cheat.
Yeah, if you know these.
I'll give a couple seconds for you to put your answers in. See if anyone gets these questions right. You cannot cheat. All right? There's some tough ones here. All right. Here's my first one, Rich. You ready for it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. UC Saros is already third in franchise history with 93 wins. Name the other four in the top five. You don't have to list them in order. Just name the other four goaltenders who are in the top five in wins in Preds history.
Well, Pekka Rinne, obviously. Crap. I can't think of how to say it.
Starts with a V.
Yeah, it does start with a V, and I can't remember how to say it.
I'm going to give you credit for this.
Bokun.
Oh, there you go.
And then
you got to start doing some process of elimination here. Start thinking about some goaltenders, you know.
I know it's not Chris Mason. Man, I don't know. I'm doing good to get two, I think.
All right. Final answer?
Does anybody else
got an answer?
Anybody else got anything? I got two of them. I feel pretty
All
good
right.
about that. You're going to say them and I'll know, but.
All right. So number one is Pekka Rinne with 369 wins. Number two is Thomas Vokoun with 161. Saros is number three with 93 wins. Number four is the first goaltender in team history, Mike Dunham. So I'll give you a pass on not knowing that one. Number five is Chris Mason.
Oh, well, there you go.
Chris Mason, our favorite Preds broadcaster, Chris Mason, has 59 career wins.
Justin Gambino said Rinne, Dunham, Mason, Vokoun. CJ said Pekka, Vokoun, and Mason.
So they were all right there on the money.
Yeah.
Guess who's number 10?
Who's number 10?
David Riddick with 3 wins.
Wow.
All right, I'm kind of joking there, and he is number 10, but you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right.
So this is it's kind of like an on this date question for you.
All right.
And this was recent. You should know this. January 12th of 2021.
Rich, I don't even remember what I ate for like breakfast 3 days ago.
You might know this.
And I'm supposed to know this.
David Poile claimed a player off of waivers last year on January 12th. Who is that player? Any idea?
Claimed a
player off waivers on January 12th of 2021.
So that was going into the shortened season.
Yep.
January. Hold on. That was right. It's got to be claimed a player.
Yep. Off waivers.
How do I not know this?
You know.
I mean, I'm gonna be here. You don't even give me multiple choice, man. You're a tough test taker.
It's because it's a funny joke.
Oh, it's got to be Lucas Spiza. Thanks for the hint.
It is Lucas Spiza.
I wasn't gonna get it unless you. Did anybody else get it?
No, nobody's gonna remember that. So
it was. I mean, you were giving me a clue because I'm thinking that was 2 days before. That was like 2 days before the season started, right? Didn't the season start on like January 14th or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
So I was like, who did the Predators pick up that close to the?
Yep.
To the shortened season.
Was picked up on the 12th and was placed on injured reserve on January 25th.
Thank you so much for that hint because I would have never gotten it. Mm-hmm. And long live Lucas Spiza, who lasted 13 days off the IR for the Preds.
It's insane.
And if you go to Cap Friendly, I think he's still listed as being on IR for the Preds. It's so weird. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
All right. I got one for you here. This one is I'm giving you multiple choice this time, all right?
All right.
Philip Forsberg is second in franchise history in goals per game. at 0.37 goals per game for his career.
Okay.
Who narrowly has the lead over him for top in franchise history? Is it A, James Neal, B, Paul Kariya, C, Mike Fisher, or D, Jason Arnott?
Whew.
No softballs here, man. Hold on, let's give someone. Is anyone answering on the comments? I don't got to pull it up.
Narrowly beating out Forsberg for goals per game. And it was James Neal.
Forsberg second. We got A, James Neal, B, Paul Kariya, C, Mike Fisher, and D, Jason Arnott.
I'm just going to guess. I'm going to say, nobody's answering. I'm going to say Jason Arnott.
Ding, 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 ding. That was a total guess, just be honest.
Was a guess. I did.
You weren't even watching the Preds when Jason Arnott was on this team.
I know, I was not. You're right.
Oh, man.
Total guess.
Wow, we got to step away from Preds trivia here because we've got a really big brawl, a nasty one.
Oh, you need to pull that camera off that Kings player because
oh my gosh, there is
going on a
that was a massive scrum there. Mark Borowiecki was in the middle of it. We've got a Kings. Oh my! All right, I hope y'all don't. All right, put all the kids away if they can read lips because I've never seen so many f-bombs in one sentence. This guy is livid.
Well, it's because the whistle blew and he was still trying to get the puck from.
Okay, Borowiecki's in the box as well.
Saros. Oh man, that guy is mad.
Yeah.
Whew.
You're seeing what I'm seeing now. All right. Oh yeah, Cousins. Oh no, Cousins kind of did a little bit of a. All right, I totally see. I see why the dude's mad. I do.
I guess.
This is how the Preds play, though, man. I'm telling you, this is how the Preds play. Whether you like it or not, they get rough. All right.
That's the guy that bit to Chuck.
Oh, okay.
Now what's that?
Well, there you go. I totally forgot. I'm drawing a blank on his name.
What's his name, guys? I can't remember.
Come on, Catfish crew, step up for us here. Help us out here. All right, so I got to tell you right now, though, this game is kind of spiraling out of control a little bit. I know the Preds are up 2-1 or 3-1, but I don't like the way the Preds are playing right now at all.
Yeah,
like they're kind of stagnant here. They're not really producing a lot of really strong offensive chances, whereas the Kings, they're buzzing all over the place. They're winning the shot total 21-11 now. We're at 4-on-4 hockey. There's a lot more open ice now.
So when we mentioned it last time, they've only gotten like 5 more shots.
Yeah, the Kings are really skating freely right now, and they're moving well in transition. I just don't like the way this game's trending right now at all.
Justin says, after running into juice earlier and now jamming a stick into juice, I think the Preds aren't going to allow the Kings to get away with any of that. That's true. And
I do like it. I totally agree, Justin. And like I said, that's how the Preds are. They don't back down to anybody. They're not going to just, you can't ever accuse them of being a soft team. That's for sure.
Nope.
But they definitely got to curb some of this momentum here that the Kings have because a 3-1 lead is nothing.
No, it can go away really quick. Well, at least they didn't call the penalty only on the Predators. No.
All right, so let's get back to Preds trivia. That was a big moment there in this game, though. That was nasty. 4-on-4 is getting ready to close out here. We're under 6 minutes left in the second period. Preds still lead 3-1.
Yep.
All right. You got another question for me?
I do. Name 2 Predators captains other than Roman Josi, Mike Fisher, or Shea Weber. Can you name 2? There's 1.
We're not. So not
5
alternate
more.
Captains. Not alternate captains.
No, actual captains. There's 5 others to choose from.
Which ones other than who?
Other than Josi, Fisher, or Weber.
All right.
And just 2 of those 5. I think that's pretty good.
All right. Jason Arnott.
That's good. That's 1.
How many do I got to name? 2?
1 more. Just 1 more.
All right. I'm going way back to when they were first became a team. I'm trying to think of their first captain. And I want to say that it was Kimmo Timonen.
He is 1, not their first, but yeah, he's definitely 1. Yep, good for you. So,
all right, bonus point. I want extra credit here. Let me figure out their first captain. If it wasn't Kimmo Timonen, was it Cliff Ronning?
Nope.
Who was their first captain?
Tom Fitzgerald.
Oh, I do remember him actually.
The other two are Scott Walker and Greg Johnson.
So see, you really got to go way back to get the 3 you took away from me, man. I had to go back in the vault there, man.
Yep. That's
all right. I'm a little pleased with myself there. That was tough. That was a tough one.
That is a hard
good one by you, Rich.
Awesome.
All right, you ready for this last one here?
Yep.
Another multiple choice for you. Which team does the Preds have the worst points percentage against in their history? So they not like the worst, like as far as they just performed the worst against this team.
Yep.
A, the Detroit Red Wings. B, the Vancouver Canucks. C, the Pittsburgh Penguins. Or D, the Boston Bruins.
Wow.
Good luck with. I know you don't. I wouldn't expect you to know this off the top of your head, but
I'm just trying to think. I'm gonna say Detroit. Nope.
It's the Vancouver Canucks. Who would have ever guessed that?
I would have never guessed that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Why is that, I wonder?
Now, they were all pretty close there together. But, yeah. Oh, well, Vancouver used to be really good back in the early days when the Preds were bad. Yeah. So, pretty much every game you played against the Canucks was going to be a loss. So, I kind of get it.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So, there you have it. That's Preds trivia for you.
Well, I actually have one more.
Oh, you got one more? All right. I thought I could get away here. All right.
One. And it's actually
pretty good.
This one's multiple choice.
All right.
Multiple choice. Who scored the 1,000th goal in franchise history on November 21st, 2003?
Oh, my God. What? All right. It's multiple choice at least.
It's multiple choice. Was it A, Marty Erat, B, Scott Hartnell, C, Vern Fiddler, or D, Dan Hamhuis?
2003. I don't
and
think
I will
it would have
say,
been I don't
all
think
those guys, all those guys were on the team.
They were
for that season. Yep.
You couldn't have even picked one or two that were not on the team, so I could do process of elimination here. Man. Oh, I still don't think it was Dan Hamhuis because he was not a big scorer ever. But not saying it couldn't be him, but
right.
Don't think it's Dan Hamhuis. All right, so you said Vern Fiddler.
So Erat, Hartnell, Fiddler, or Dan Hamhuis?
I'm going by the laws of averages and probability here because I'm guessing, and I'm going with Martin Erat.
And Scott Hartnell.
That was going to be my second guess.
Yep. Scored the 1,000th goal in franchise history.
That's a pretty cool little nugget there for all of our Preds fans to remember.
Next time I'm going to use this thing. Oh, it's broke. Wait a minute.
Oh. That sounds like that should be when you're right. That sounds like a good thing.
Oh, yeah. It was supposed to sound like a goal horn, but that's all right.
Yeah. Oh, we got a fight here. Borowiecki has dropped the gloves with the same guy that he was jawing with. This is a good one.
It's Brandon Lemieux.
Lemieux, all right.
So they lined this up
while
they were in the penalty box.
Oh, this is so good.
Oh, get him. Oh, my gosh. Borowiecki's a monster.
So Boro got tied up there. He couldn't really throw any fist. I can't say he won that fight by any means. He took some shots, too, actually, from Lemieux. So they're going right back to the penalty box. I guess they wanted to go back.
Yeah.
Dan Hanote gave him a good little pat on the back.
Hey, man.
Oh, no, they didn't line that up. Boro made a huge hit.
Oh.
And then they dropped the gloves.
Okay. All right. I could have swore I would have thought they would have had that lined up.
No, that was when they were done with it right there.
Oh,
He
yeah.
laid out
I know.
So that's Boro's
That's awesome.
fifth. That's Borowiecki's fifth fighting major of this season already. So he's getting up there with Tanner Janot.
Oh, so he hit that guy, and then Lemieux's like mad already. So
He was already mad. Yeah, it was going to happen regardless. All right, so that's. I mean,
what did he get? I guess he got the.
I mean, he went down the tunnel. I'm not sure. All right, so look, this is what the Preds do. This is their identity, right?
Yep.
We love to see it.
Hey, man. You gotta take the.
All right, so we really don't want to leave y'all without the end of this game being played, but it's late on the Eastern Coast time zone. It's also late in the Central time zone. We got one more thing we got to do before we head out on episode 94 of Catfish on Ice. We will. I'll stay up late with everybody and follow this on the Catfish on Ice Twitter account.
Yep.
Give us some of our thoughts from there. But we're about to wrap up this episode. It's been a really fun episode. We appreciate everyone who's watched on the YouTube channel. We appreciate everyone who's going to download the podcast the next day. We cannot thank all of you enough for sticking with us into 2022. All right. Well, you mentioned it earlier, Rich. This day in Preds history, right?
Yep.
And we both got one.
I got two, actually.
You got two?
Ahead. I do. I found another one that's really good.
All right, so I'm going to do the first one. So today is January 6th, 2022. Yep. All I got to do for mine is go back 2 years. Go back 2 years when the Preds officially fired Peter Laviolette.
Oh, actually, I do only got one. Never mind. Go ahead.
I thought you gave me one of yours.
Actually, I do got another one. You're never mind. I know. I got it.
Peter Laviolette was fired 2 years ago on this day. And I can tell you at the time, I could not believe it, that they followed through with it so early in the season. I thought that he was going to get fired at the end of the season, and they were going to have a full offseason to do a coaching search and all that. I did not think there was going to be any way they were going to pull it off in the middle of January like that.
Yeah, I think that Poile had Hines lined up, and he was afraid he might go somewhere else, but I don't know where he would have went.
So, hindsight 2020, and I mean that with the pun intended because of John Hines. But hindsight, I think it looks like it was the right decision, obviously.
I think so, too. Yeah, I mean.
Oh, my gosh. We have another brawl going here. I'm talking like multiple scrums. Oh, you're about to see it. There is debris. Not debris, but there's
gloves, helmets.
Okay, we don't need Arvidsson getting in the middle there. RV, you can just go ahead and skate on out of there. No reason for you to get in the middle of it.
So, okay, I can – oh, that is Arvidsson and Ryan Johansson fighting.
Well, they're buddies, though. We know they're not going to do anything serious.
Wow.
This game's gone off the rails. It
is. So, Johansson was hanging out in the crease a little too long after the whistle was blown, and that made Victor Arvidsson mad. I get that.
Well, what do you know?
I get that.
Oh, Arvidsson also took a really bad spill into the – I think that was Arvidsson. No, that wasn't Arvidsson. Wow, you don't see that every day. Arvidsson and Johansson. Oh, RV's laughing, though.
Oh, that's cool.
They're both laughing. RV's a little mad, though. You can see he's actually mad. Wow, seeing two old buddies go at it.
There's part of who is that? I can't tell.
So they actually gave the penalty just to Johansson for roughing, so the Kings are on the power play now. This game's gone off the rails. But at this rate, this game was not going to end until 2 in the morning with all these stoppages.
That's
all right, so on this day in Preds history, though, 2 years ago, Peter Laviolette was fired. All right, Rich, what's yours?
And Kevin McCarthy. They fired him, too.
Oh, yeah.
So I have two. The first one, January 6, 2016. Ryan Johansson was acquired from Columbus in exchange for Seth Jones.
Oh, my gosh. A lot of big stuff's happened on this day. All right.
2016. So then the other one, it's not really as big, but Luke Cunnin signed a 2-year, $4.6 million contract in 2021 on this day. So,
and also 3 years ago on this day, the Preds beat the Kings 4-3. PK Subban had 2 assists in that game.
there you go.
So there's that.
Awesome.
Because we all remember how exciting and electrifying PK Subban during his short time here.
Yep. I like
All
him.
right. All right. Anything else you got for us, Rich, before we get out of here?
No, I think I'm good. A lot of fun, man. I love watching these games with all everybody chiming in. It's great. And we really appreciate it a lot.
Yes, we do. We appreciate everyone for listening tonight. Been a lot of fun watching the game with everybody. Sorry we got to get out a little early, but of course we'll react to this game in our next episode, and we're going to keep following it on the Twitter account at Catfish Ice on Twitter, and of course on Facebook and Instagram as well. Until then, everyone have a safe night. Be careful if you got to drive, of course, and you're in the Nashville area or anywhere in they got all the snow and everything. Enjoy your snow days tomorrow. If you don't have to go out to work or school tomorrow, enjoy your snow days. We appreciate everybody. We will see you later on for episode 95 next week. Take care, everybody.
Have a good one.